Usually I prefer to talk about unusual, obscure, or niche games, but this time I'm going to be talking about a very well-received game. This game is not only overwhelmingly positive on Steam, but it also has a solid 41,000 total reviews on Steam. The problem is, this game no longer gets the recognition it deserves, despite still being updated and developed with incredible features added for no fault of its own. Instead, the issue is virtual reality. This game is Blade and Sorcery, and any of you that are familiar with VR will probably recognize that name. It is one of the best games you can currently get on VR, and it's also one of the best gaming experiences you can have to date. VR is in a bit of a down period right now. Valve released the Valve Index a while back, along with Half-Life Alyx, which was a phenomenal game, and this gave the medium a huge boost. All it needed to do was keep the momentum going, but it didn't. No company decided to invest into a truly good VR game in the same way Valve did since Alyx's release. As a matter of fact, Meta decided to try and ruin its reputation even further by trying to push the metaverse, which just wasn't what people want from this technology. Like the complete nerd I am, naturally I want Sword Art Online, but in real life. I want a true VR experience, immersed in a different world from the one I live in, to fight cool bosses and get loot with friends. We may not have this full dive VR right now, but what we do have, and its potential, is the first big step, staring us in the face. We just need someone to take that step. As you can see from the background footage, this is me in VR. From my perspective, it looks like I'm in this game. The world around me looks real, if a little less high definition than reality. This is the first step, sight and sound. I can't touch and feel anything, nor can I taste or smell anything, but I can see and hear this world. Sure, I need a headset strapped to my face and to flail around in my room, but it feels like I'm there. The game itself, Blade and Sorcery, takes the most advantage of this. There's no combos here. I swing the sword like I'm trying to swing an actual sword to fight here. If I need to change weapon, I don't scroll a mouse wheel. I have to reach down and grab the weapon I want from wherever I've holstered it. I have to block like someone's swinging a real sword at me and not with the right mouse click. It feels amazing. This technology is available to us right now. I'm using a Meta Quest 2 connected to my PC. It doesn't cost anywhere near as much as it used to experience VR. My PC was VR ready years ago. To build a PC like that these days, it's significantly more affordable. The Meta Quest 2 is also about to get a price drop when the Quest 3 releases very shortly. The barrier between this technology and the average consumer has crumbled away significantly over the years, and yet I don't see anybody really talking about it. There are laptops powerful enough to run VR games these days. The next Steam Deck will probably have the power to run these games. My room is tiny, and yet I still play by just standing in one spot. If you can try this, you really owe it to yourself to try it, because this is an experience that no modern AAA game can successfully replicate. The physics are all here. When I swing, my sword collides with the world. I can throw my weapons aside and choose to punch if I want. There's magic. I combine two electric spells here to make a goddamn Kamehameha, and it feels so immensely good. Steam is absolutely full of shovelware VR games, almost giving the illusion that it just isn't possible to make a good VR game, but you can, and it's right here. Climbing along ropes, jumping, slicing, everything is done by you. You are the character in this game, and as such, you are responsible for attacking, blocking, dodging. No pre-rendered main character animations that determine how you swing the sword. You determine that with your real actions. This is technology that realistically started with the Nintendo Wii, rudimentarily, and was then attempted again by the Xbox Kinect, which, well, I'm sure you know how that one turned out. But now we're here. We're at the starting line for true VR technology. If you thought that's all there was to it though, you'd be wrong. Some might notice that for some of this footage I've been using some pretty familiar swords. Two swords from the Sword Art Online anime. You can crucify me later for liking SAO, just hear me out on this one. Obviously the game doesn't have these swords in it. That would probably violate some sort of copyright. But you know what does have them in it? That's right, mods. This game has an insane modding scene. It doesn't stop with just new sword models. I installed a mod that adds lightsaber versions of different weapons, and this is just so cool. Nothing feels cooler than physically reaching down, unsheathing, and turning on the motherfucking Excalibur lightsaber. Maybe the Excalibur lightsaber isn't your thing. Maybe you prefer Thanatos, the Grim Reaper's light scythe? I can tell you now, I sure didn't, because I am awful at handling this thing, which is just so cool to think about. I decided not to use this weapon, not because of damage numbers or abilities or anything, but because I physically couldn't figure out how to optimally swing it with my real arms. Actually swing it. So I switched to the lightsaber katana, which just feels damn cool. It's like being in a dream, except I'm awake. I cannot convey to you without telling you to try this game if you can pick up a cheap headset how unbelievably cool this is. It was 5 years ago when this game released, and it's still cool to this day due to the nature of how these games and VR work. But you know what else is cool? The lightsaber whip. A lightsaber whip. This thing demolishes people. I feel like Indiana Jones in some sci-fi alternate universe. Now, of course, as fun as this game is, it's a sandbox currently. It's an arena fighter with an immaculate amount of detail put into it. The thing is though, what's stopping a company from taking a foundation like this and applying it to a game on the scale of, say, Elden Ring? Imagine Elden Ring, but you're in the game. You're swinging the weapons, you're parrying the attacks, and one day when we make it to Full Dive VR, you will be dodge rolling out of the way. You will see these games worlds in a one-to-one scale. The enemies, the vistas. It's like a dream come true, and on a basic level, this is already doable. Well, I'd imagine profits are a big part of why companies don't do it, but as this technology gets bigger and more affordable, we get one step closer to truly being in Sword Art Online or VR Elden Ring, or any other of the wildly imaginative ideas that we are so close to realizing. I've said all the important things I wanted to say at this point, but I have one more thing to show you. We all know how crazy mods can be from games like Minecraft, Terraria and Skyrim, so we all know how easy it should be to mod this game into one of the greatest power trips of all time. I wish I could keep that song going for the entire duration of the montage, but copyright exists, so I'm going to leave you with someone else. I've been frustrated by the lack of quality VR games coming out, despite the potential having been there for quite some time now. So I decided I'd make a video now that VR is at the most affordable it's ever been. So I hope this caught the interest of some of you. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.